everybody, it's Oksana. Today I'm going to show you how to make this little rectangular cabochon pendant. And so periodically I get asked how to make a rectangular one, and I do it pretty much the same way that I do any other shape, but it's just slightly trickier because you have to bend this frame at such sharp little angles here. So I figured that I would go ahead and demonstrate, and this is the little pendant that I came up with. That's what it looks like from the back. So if you want to see how I made this, then just keep watching. So I'm starting with my cabochon. Here's what it looks like. It is a little rectangle. So you can do this with any cabochon with sharp angles, rectangle or square. And mine is just the tiniest bit less than an inch. And I'm going to start with some 20 gauge square wire. So this is 20 gauge. I can't read it anymore, but it's square copper dead soft wire from Rio Grande. And I have 3 pieces that are 10 inches long. And the other wire that I will be using is, it got a little wet, 22 gauge half round copper from Rio Grande as well. And this wire I will just be keeping on the spool, and I'm just going to take an end of it, but the rest of it is connected to the spool there. And I'm just going to grab my 3 wires in the middle and connect them by wrapping the half round wire around them. So this is pretty similar to the way that I've done other pendants in the past that have been like circles and ovals. But I wanted to make a separate video because I do get questions how to do rectangles, and it is pretty much the same way, but I figured I would show it so you can actually see. You just have to make sharp bends when you are bending the frame around your stone, since it is rectangular and has sharp corners in it. So you can either make this the length of the bottom of your stone or a little bit shorter. I guess mine is just a smidge shorter. So I'll just leave it shorter because you might have a bigger cab and you might, have to leave it shorter, and maybe you want to see what to do with that. But basically, you just have to figure out now where to make your bends, and you're going to make your bends with your pliers. So if you hold your cabochon to your wire, you can try bending like manually with your hands, but the angles are not going to come out as sharp as you want them. It's going to be kind of rounded. But what you can do is you can do this to get started. So here's how it turns out if you try to just bend it with your hands. So now you can use your pliers, and you can go in there in this little corner that you made, and you can just make that bend sharper, and then we'll just open it back up. See how one is sharp and the other one is not sharp? So then we're going to do the same thing here. Just make it nice and sharp. And then open that up. You want this to be flat, this bottom, because it was a little bit rounded and there was a gap between the stone and the wire. So now you can put your stone in there And you can always adjust, you know, if you're putting it in and it doesn't fit because it's too small now or vice versa, you can just take your pliers and kind of move these angles as you need to, adjust it a little bit. So it's gonna go like this. This will be the bottom, this will be the top, and the thing that we have to do now is bend these angles up here. So again, I'm just gonna start by bending with my fingers a little bit, as much as I can. So it looks like this. I'm just kind of putting one set in back and one set in the front. And now I'm going in here and I'm just bending that more sharply, like that. And now I'm gonna do that on the other side. Sorry, I'm trying to find a good way to show you because the other wires are kind of blocking it. All right, so I know it's hard to see the back ones, but I've bent both of them. So now what you want to do is you kind of want to find the middle, and if you're more of a mathematical person, you actually want to like measure and put a little dot down with a marker, feel free to do that. But I'm just going to eyeball it, and I'm bending up these wires because we have to, you know, connect them and make a bail. So I did that on both sides, and now I'm gonna have them come together like this, and I'm gonna check if my stone will still fit in here. So it fits in here, but see how there's like a gap right there. So what I'm gonna do is I'm just gonna open up this corner. I'm glad this happened because I feel like this will happen to people, and so now I actually get to show you. So I open up the corner, and now I'm just going a smidge lower than I had previously so that that gap will go away. And now I probably have to fix this because that extended the wire. And so that this, you know, this spacing needs to get smaller now. So I've rebent both of the angles there. So let's check it now. Okay, so that's better. There's a tiny gap there, but that's okay. I feel like it'll give us a little bit of room to maneuver if there's a tiny gap. So that's really the hardest thing about these rectangles. So now you want these 3 wires to be just on top of these 3 wires so we can connect them with our half round wire. But yeah, as I was saying, the trickiest thing is to make the frame nice to fit your rectangle, since it's a little bit harder than just bending it around like an oval or a teardrop. I feel like teardrop's the easiest shape. So wrapping the wire, here's a little tail, taking the front 2, taking the other front 2, leaving just the back wires to wrap around to form our bail. So the rest is going to be really, really similar. I mean, I'll do something slightly different for like the swirls and stuff, so it's not identical to my other pendants. Sorry, every time I turn this, the wires like hit my camera, so I keep moving it off screen accidentally. Yeah, so I'll think of, you know, something different to make this not identical, but basically you can do whatever you want now. You can make your bail, do whatever swirls you want. If you like swirls from, you know, a previous video of mine where I did, you know, just a different shape, you can use those. But I'm just gonna finish this up so that it's tall enough to be a bail. So once it's tall enough, I'm just gonna trim and pinch down that little end so it's in the back. And then if you wanna go over with your pliers and just flatten, it's up to you, like that. And you can put the stone in if you like, or you can do the, bail and the swirls. It's up to you. Sometimes if you do, I'm just bending it with my fingers in the shape of a bail. Sometimes if you do all this stuff first and then you stick the stone in there and you start moving these wires around to trap the stone in, it kind of moves, since these are the same wires that are continuing, it kind of can move them out of place a little bit. So it might be beneficial to put your stone in first. So I'll do that shortly. I'm just trimming this little tail end off. I'm taking my pliers and that, just tucking it in there, smushing it down. So I'll go in and put my stone in now. Here it is. And on the back, we're just gonna take the backmost wire and bend it like that. And same thing on the other side. And if your stone pops out, that's okay. It's not secure from the front right now, so it's kind of popping out the front. So there it is. Looks like a little hourglass. Our stone is trapped in there. And now we have to secure our stone from the front. So we're gonna take those wires, bring them onto the stone a little bit, and it's up to you. You can go down in here and kind of bend this little corner and it'll kind of go up onto the corners here. You can do that at the bottom or the top, or you can take right here from the middle if you want and bring that part onto the stone. It just depends on what look you like the best. So if you do this, it kind of brings the wire onto the side here. And then you want to check your stone and kind of push it from the back to make sure that that's enough to hold it. So here's what it looks like if it's done from both sides there. So whatever you chose to do, the key thing is just that it traps your stone in, and if you push that stone from the back, it doesn't pop through the front because this wire is just kind of holding it, preventing it from coming out the front. And you can actually secure it more with these wires, by having these wires kind of just like go across. So if say you can get it on the bottom good, but then you can't really get it on the top good, and maybe like a corner keeps popping out, you can, kind of sweep this wire across like as decoration, but then also to hold your stone in. So what I'm gonna do with my bail is I'm not gonna, as you saw me cut off that little tail end, so I'm not attaching it the way that I have attached it previously, although I think I did do it this way once. But instead, I'm gonna take the two wires coming from my bail and I'm gonna just wrap them like this and attach them there. Now they are visible here, so if you don't like this look, you can do it like I've done in some of my previous videos where I wrap the half round wire around those wires going around the bail to connect, and then I just cut the wires and make like little loops. So any way that you like, but I'm just gonna do it this way to mix things up here. And then I'm just closing up those loops since, when I cut it, the end is sticking out. So now the end is hidden, not sticking out. And I just have these 4 wires here to finish this pendant off with. So let me think. You can twist if you would like, since this is square wire. It gives a nice effect. can see what I mean about, you know, sweeping them across if you need to hold your stone in. You can do that. I think I'm going to kind of sweep them across like this at the top. And then here on the other side, you can cut them and wrap them around this wire, just, you know, the little end of it. Or you can have them come out this side like they are right now, bring them up and have them tucked away in there. It's another option. So I'm gonna take one wire at a time and I'm gonna tuck it in here. I'm just bending it with my pliers, and then here on this end I'm grabbing that. Can you see that? Grabbing that little end, and it's forming like a little loop. And I'm doing that with the other end as well. You just have to make sure you smush down those little ends so that you can't feel them, you know, so they're kind of tucked away. So here they are. They're going in there, and the ends of them are just kind of tucked around there. And then here's the wires as they continue from the back. So now we just have these two. I'm gonna go ahead and twist one of those as well. And now I'm just going to make a loop. Like that. And then I'm going to continue that and turn it into another loop. Like so. And I'm going to hold it with my pliers here. And there we go. Here's what that looks like. I'm gonna cut that, so I'm giving myself a tail end here so that I can take these wires, I can put them in through my bail. Here they are coming out the other side. And what you want to do now is you want to take the little tips of them and you want to turn them towards this wire here so that you can kind of push them closed, so to speak, and then the little ends, they touch that wire, so they're, see that? You can't see the ends now because they're just going directly into that wire and you can't see or feel them. So here's what that looks like. I'm just gonna lift up this curl a little bit just because it got smushed down and you can't really see it as good anymore. Okay, so just like that. And if you feel like your stone is loose at all in the bottom part, obviously the top we got it trapped pretty good, you can kind of wedge your plier in here and lift up this front wire just a little bit. See how it's not right up against the wire behind it? It's just a little lifted. And see, you can kind of see as the shine hits my stone, the little corner right in there. So the corner is kind of trapped now behind this wire on both sides. And that, now it's like impossible to push the stone through even at the bottom. So that's just another way you can make sure. Just push this wire up onto the angles there and just really trap your stone in. So that is it. That is my little rectangular pendant. Here it is from the back. So thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you next time. Bye.